Probably going to be in the kitchen. There she is.
Dr. Paul Jared Frank.
What's happening? Hold on, let me get my little ear pods in here.
How are you?
You can hear me? Cool. I'm feeling okay. You know, I catch it in spurts. I'm definitely going to be napping. That beginner yoga class I took for a half hour felt like a very advanced one. Me and downward dog don't work very well. But, you know, a lot of people are, and why I'm so excited to have you here, people are trying to find out what they could do at home to take care of themselves. I figured, who better than Dr. Bowe to get the Bowe glow?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. And, you know, I spoke to you earlier today. I was worried about you. You know, you got hit pretty hard.
I did.
And, you know, when you get hit like that, it really resonates and you start to think about your immune system, your overall health, taking care of yourself, self-care, you know, little things that I think you and I are, you know, we're New Yorkers.
We do it.
You know,
we
like
do it.
To burn the candle, you know, at every angle and every wick in there. And, you know, and sometimes we don't even realize how hard we're pushing ourselves. And then something like it's just a silver lining. I'm not saying that it was a good thing that you went through what you went through. You know, maybe now, because maybe potentially you're immune. We don't know for how long, you know, but being sick like that, I was sick as a child. I was deathly sick as a child. I didn't know if I was going to make it. When I was 10 years old, I went to the Caribbean with my family and I had conch chowder and I got a parasite in the chowder.
Oh God.
When I came back to the States, my family all had, you know, they had GI bug, they recovered, and I was very, very sick. I wasn't as strong. I was hospitalized and the doctors didn't know what it was. And so they started treating me. They assumed it was a bacterial infection. They started treating me with antibiotic after antibiotic after antibiotic. And you might guess that I ended up with C. diff.
Wow.
So
this is the backstory about the whole secrets of dirty skin.
This is why I'm so fascinated with our gut health and with that sort of balance between our good bugs and our bad bugs. I got C. difficile. I got C. diff colitis. And I was in
Everyone has a backstory. Everyone has a backstory of why they are where they are today.
I feel like you just lived through. I'm making you louder so I can hear you. You just lived through something that it's sort of when you emerge from that, it motivates you to be healthier and to understand the root cause of prevention and prophylaxis and health maintenance in a way that I think people who haven't been through that, it's hard for them to understand that.
Absolutely.
Drive, you know?
And, you know, I can't believe that there are people around the country protesting to get businesses up and going again. And it's so funny because if you ask, you know, listen, if I never got sick, I am sure, given my type A personality, I'd be like, why can't I work? Why can't I do this? Why can't I be, I'm bored. I'm not frustrated or bored at all. And, you know, it's funny, doing what we do for a living, trying to set a good example. I've always been kind of like the face of someone who takes care of themselves on the inside, on the outside. And the fact that I got sick, forget about my audience. I was so shocked myself because I wasn't the stereotype of someone who got sick. I take care of myself, you know, and it's funny.
You exercise, you eat well.
I actually practice what I preach. You know, it's very funny, which is why I think it's so important to be talking to you. Now that I am healthy, now that I'm able to pay more attention to what I'm eating, I will tell you that when I was sick, what got me through it was a lot of ice cream because I needed high caloric things that felt good that I had to eat. So maybe I wasn't following such an anti-inflammatory diet when I was sick. But I got to tell you, I'm the only one in my household that goes shopping now because I'm immune. And I go to Cinderella, I go to King Cullen, and it's amazing. There's fresh fruit and vegetables and nuts, and the shelves are filled with good things. You know what it's tough to get hold of? Nutella, chips, pretzels. The dessert cart is empty. And people
My husband's looking for wheat thins. He can't get wheat thins. And things in boxes, processed, refined, comfort foods.
It's not good.
Those are the ones that are harder to find now. It's actually,
I know.
I have a whole little spread for us to talk about today, but finding the fresh foods is actually easier than finding the boxed, refined, processed comfort foods that we should actually be avoiding.
Yeah. Yeah. What people don't realize too is that, again, eating healthy is not just about your overall immune system, but obviously your skin. And people also want to know, like, what can we do? I mean, if I tell you the number of texts and messages, I'm breaking out, my psoriasis, I mean, we're under stress, right? When we're under stress, the mind affects the skin.
And where acute stress is okay, right? When you're running a marathon, when you're giving a presentation, like you feel your heart beat, you know, a little bit more rapidly, you got a little kick in your step, like that's a good thing, fight or flight, right? But what we're living through right now is we're living through chronic stress. And chronic stress is what really takes a toll. And how are we coping with some of that chronic stress? A lot of people are reaching for comfort foods. They're reaching for the foods that you're saying are harder to get in the supermarket because, you know, they associate that with comfort. They associate that with, and we have more time, you know, so it's sort of like, I'm going to keep snacking and snacking. So certain foods that we're reaching for combined with the chronic stress is really wreaking havoc on our skin. I call it quarantine skin because I'm getting the same DMs. I'm getting the same emails from my patients. Like my psoriasis is bad. My eczema is flaring. My acne is flaring. My skin is dull. I'm blotchy. I'm sensitive. I'm irritated. Like what's going on? And it all comes back to the gut brain skin connection. Exactly what you're saying. So I think more than ever, you know, I'm doing a boot camp, as you know.
Yeah, I know that. It's so exciting.
It's really, it's wonderful. We're getting such a great response from it. Good Morning America got involved, and like
Ginger What's nice is that, you know,
and Sarah Haynes. What?
We're all like, when we're not in quarantine, so much of us are looking for regimens, things to go to. I do my Prolon thing, or people do their keto thing, or people do whatever version of things they look out for. So now you're at least helping people create a structure in a place where there's no structure. And that's what I was excited about seeing.
But
about
it's
your
evidence-based. It's evidence-based. You know, I think that there's always trends out there. You know, there's always something new and hot and exciting. But, you know, what you and I have in common is that we go to the primary literature. We go to the source. We go to the evidence. We want to see that there's studies supporting it. And there's very clear studies supporting that certain foods and certain beverages are going to trigger inflammation in the gut, trigger inflammation in the skin. They're associated with flaring conditions in the skin, premature aging in the skin. So it's that science is really important. Oh, we've got a little cameo appearance. Come, quick hello to Dr. Paul Jared Frank. I'm going to say hello, little chicken. She's wearing her blue light filtering glasses right now.
She looks so like someone I know. Look at that.
She's zooming. You're eating healthy, right? Lots of fruits and vegetables. All right, go chicken. Oh, sorry. Almost got knocked out there.
So for people who have problems with their skin, chronic inflammation, because you got to remember, there's no elective medicine being practiced. People are not only not able to go to their dermatologist, their rheumatologist, their cardiologist. We know that the inflammation you're talking about in the skin, it reflects every organ in the body. So I think the things you're talking about in the recommendations are going to be for people who have any type of inflammation of the body and are just waiting so they can go back to their doctor. So give me some of your spiel. Tell me what are the foods that we can work with.
Let's dive in. So first of all, so if you guys want to get the details, first of all, if you go to my Instagram and you go to the link in my bio, the boot camp is free. It's 10 steps. It is simple, and I'm doing it every single day. And I invite you to join me if you want to do it with me. Just 3 weeks we're going to be doing it. But the first step has to realize that skim milk and dairy milk has been associated with inflammation. Specifically, there's lots of studies showing that it triggers acne in the skin. So you want to try to avoid, and skim milk is something that a lot of my health conscious patients will drink because it's low in calorie, low in fat.
That's what I drink.
We grew up with the fat free, right? But that's actually not how you want to, what you want to do when it comes to dairy milk. So here I have an example of, this is a macadamia milk. This is an almond milk. So see the word like unsweetened. So that's really important because you don't want to have something that's loaded with sugar. So, you know, some of them, if they're flavorful and they're delicious, they're also loaded with sugar. And sugar can cause glycation in the skin. So the sugar molecules linked to the collagen, the elastic fibers, they basically break them down. So it leads to premature aging. And we know that foods that have a high glycemic index, so lots of sugar, triggers inflammation. There's beautiful studies out of Australia.
Absolutely.
These teenage boys who went on a low glycemic index diet, meaning that they cut out the white bagels, the white pasta, the chips, the cornflakes, the donuts, and all of a sudden their acne cleared. And
you're making me hungry. I'm getting hungry.
Oh, sorry. Well, it's a little, mid-afternoon snack. You can have some fermented dairy. So certain dairy is okay, right? So yogurt is okay because it's fermented. It's got probiotics in it. But again, you want to watch out for the added sugars. So
of course. A little
dairy
Greek yogurt
is not
with
like
some
black
fruit.
or white.
And
So
some
fruit,
Greek yogurt with some fruit.
And fruits, so I got specific fruits here because berries are lower in sugar. So they're lower in glycemic index than, say, like mango, pineapple, papaya, banana.
Great.
Those are delicious, but those are not as skin friendly. So if you're going to have fruits, you want to have fruits that are lower in sugar, like berries.
Right. Now, do you agree, a lot of these the reason why the sugar in fruits is probably better is because it's digested with the fiber of the fruit, and that most carbohydrates and sugars are probably better to be digested with a form of fiber.
Love it, which is why I'm not a fan of juicing. So if you're going to juice, make it green. People who go to a juice bar or they have a juicer at home and they're blending all these fruits, what the juicer does is it literally separates the fiber from the juice. So you're basically drinking sugar water that's flavored, and you don't have any of the fiber to slow down the absorption of that sugar. So you get a spike in your sugar, you get a spike in your insulin, and that's not going to look so good in your skin or your body. You're going to put on weight. Your skin is going to start looking, dry, and you're so yes, you're 100%
let me
right.
ask you this.
If you're going to have sugars, you want them in natural form with fiber.
Right. Do you think, in relative to whatever research has been done on intermittent fasting, forget about the 8-16 rule. Do you believe the microbiome and when we eat our foods will play a role on how it affects our skin? We all know that eating a dinner like an hour before you're going to sleep is probably not the best idea. There's a lot of controversy of whether breakfast is the best meal of the day. I do honestly believe inside that when you eat or how often you eat does play a role. It's not just the quality of the food. You know what I mean?
So I completely agree with you. I think there is something to be said for intermittent fasting. There's actually very interesting science talking about a new spin on intermittent fasting, which is the circadian diet. So it has to do with eating when the sun is out. So it's eating during daylight hours. And there's studies showing that we actually are better at metabolizing our meals when the sun is out. And it all has to do with the circadian rhythm. I think there's going to be tons of science coming out that really reflects our gut microbiome is very much affected by our circadian cycles and our circadian rhythm, which is directly impacted by blue light. So blue light is natural light. So that's why I'm always trying to get outside. I'll try once a day, I'll try to get outside. I'll try to expose my eye to blue light. Blue light shuts down our brain's production of melatonin, and it wakes you up. And so it energizes you. At night, I wear blue light filtering glasses. My daughter was wearing blue light filtering glasses.
Oh my God.
She's zooming all day with homeschool. But that allows your body to start producing melatonin at night. So our circadian cycles are very, very critical to our overall health. And so it is absolutely essential. I think that the intermittent fasting is really interesting. It's really interesting, but I think timing matters.
Are you filtering blue light in your sunscreen? What do you got going there? Is that going to make a difference?
So I think we are going to see more and more blue light filters in our sunscreen. And that's going to be tricky because the classic UV filters don't do that. And they don't filter infrared either. So I think, what do we have now to block blue light and infrared heat? We have antioxidants. Yeah. So I think, eating antioxidants, I've got some fresh rosemary here, which I cook with all the time. I put it in my detox water recipes. I put this, on my veggies, on my chicken. But having anti-inflammatories in our diet and then using a vitamin C serum every morning, having antioxidants in our skincare from the outside in, and having antioxidants in our diet, that's going to neutralize the free radical damage from the blue light, from the infrared. So until technology catches up and we have a sunscreen that protects us from the blue light, we might as well load up on the antioxidants because that's what we have right now, right?
Well, I think we could use a little more sun in the New York area overall. I'm not so worried about my sunscreen running through. It hasn't been that nice where I am. So we're looking forward to a little nice weather, no?
I think it was hailing outside today. I don't even know what was happening today.
Not nice at all.
I want to talk about fats. Can we talk about fats?
I love talking about fat because you know what? I keep getting phone calls. People want to book their liposuction for November, so it's fine.
That's right. Fat beware of Dr. Paul Jared Frank.
Oh, they're all going to be coming in. That I'm not worried about.
So, but I think that a lot of people don't realize that eating fat doesn't make you fat, right? So it's especially if you're eating the right fats, and our skin and our brain desperately needs healthy fats, especially omega-3 fatty acids. So when we think about healthy fats, I've got salmon in my freezer. Normally I like to get fresh, but I'm not going to the supermarket every day. So as soon as I get it, I freeze it. Avocados, extra virgin olive oil. I've got sunflower seeds here. I've got nuts. I'm talking about healthy fats that are rich in omega-3 fatty acids. These are some chia seeds, if you guys recognize those.
I love the
having
prep.
Healthy fats.
Yeah.
What?
I love the
worked
prep.
hard for you. I worked hard for this.
No, you just have this around every day, all day, right? I mean, this is just how your kitchen is.
Perfectly proportioned in clear containers, right? That are camera friendly. I just roll like that.
You've done this.
Kitchen looks like you. But the healthy fats, they're so important. They keep our cell membranes fluid. They help us trap moisture. They keep our skin hydrated, and they dial down inflammation. So the typical American eats an omega-6 to omega ratio of 20 to 1. And our ideal ratio is 2 to 1. We're eating way too many omega-6 fatty acids. We need to increase our omega-3 fatty acids. So you want to eat fat. You just want to eat the right kind of fat.
That's true. I'm going to tell you my secret.
And if you eat too much, then you can suck out the fat.
That's right. I'll tell you my secret. During the day, when I'm at the office, I rarely have time to eat. People say, how do you stay so thin? When do you eat? When do you do all this? I'll tell you what I do. I take a avocado, or I get my sister to do it for me, who runs my practice. Take an avocado, cut it up, I mash it, and I take Trader Joe's everything bagel seasoning. And I douse it. It has like sesame. Here we go. The best. The
Paul Jared Frank snack. This is what he lives on, guys. Right?
Snack. That's like 2 out of my 3 meals a day.
Oh my gosh, I love it. So you're like living on fat. Are you keto?
No, I'm not keto. I'm everything. But I'll tell you, when I'm in a busy work day, I don't have time to be tired out by food, but I want something satiating that I know is healthy. It's going to give me long-term energy. Avocado with Trader Joe's. It's amazing. And
I say the same thing. I walk into the room and people are like, how do you stay so fit? How do you work such long hours?
Keep moving.
And I'm like, you keep asking questions, so I don't get to eat. I don't get enough time in between people to eat enough, right? So I'm like, I'm always trying, you know, to feed myself with healthy things in between. But that's a good way of keeping our food intake down. So what are you doing during quarantine? Because now we're sitting around, we got a lot of downtime. Nobody's in between you and the fridge.
Everyone's been like, what are you doing about being bored? I said, you know what? If you're bored, you're not doing enough. I was sick for a long time. I felt better. I really had my reflexes to be busy. So I'm doing everything I can on social media to really help people, interviewing amazing people like you. I'm actually out here in Suffolk County now. I'm in the Hamptons, and I'm trying to coordinate with some other doctors locally and from New York to get an antibody testing site out here. We have a lab that we're working with, and testing is starting to ramp up in Manhattan right now. And it's not just rich people out here in the Hamptons. There's a whole wide array of socioeconomic classes that are in need here. And I'm working with the mayor out here to really see if we could set up a testing site. So that's what's keeping me busy. And I think whether it's taking care of your family or homeschooling or just keeping yourself happy and busy, I think there's no reason to be bored. We're all doing the same thing.
Yep, we are. I'm getting some questions down here. People are asking about collagen peptides. So collagen, first of all, there's no such thing as vegan collagen. I love when brands market vegan collagen. There may be in the future, there are a couple of labs that are developing, some genetic engineering, some ways of sort of, modifying a plasmid, putting it in a bacteria and having them mass produce, collagen peptides. But if you're looking at real collagen right now that's on the market, the collagen's coming from cows, bovine, pigs, porcine, right? Yeah. Or it's coming from marine. It's coming from, fish, ideally not shellfish. Ideally, it's coming from a larger type of fish. But that collagen, some of them do have, there are some very compelling studies that if you take collagen every single day consistently over long periods of time, we're talking about like, 3 months at a time of daily consumption, that it can help with skin hydration levels, that it can help with fine lines and wrinkles, but collagen, when you think about where it's coming from like the hoof, the skin, the cartilage, the bone. It's coming from parts of the animal that like heavy metal contaminants tend to get really concentrated in those areas. So the quality control, the trust is a major, concern. So it's always about trusting where it's coming from and having that transparency to know, like, where is it being sourced from?
So you're telling me that heavy metals can be found in these collagen supplements, much in the way a lot of people are eating too much tuna.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So that's,
Whitney, you just changed my life. You changed my life right now, because I was diagnosed 3 months ago with mercury toxicity. Not dangerously high levels, not dangerously high.
Are you a big tuna, a big sushi person, or?
I'm a big fish person because I don't eat a lot of meat. And my doctor,
I'm a huge fish person too.
Yeah, and my doctor, Dr. Richard Furshine, who's a very well-known integrative medicine doc, he was like, listen, this has been building up for years. You eat more fish than you do steak. And although, I don't only eat tuna, clearly it's something that's slowly developed. But I have to say, because I don't eat a lot of red meat and I work out a lot, I do take collagen supplements, bovine collagen supplements. And you just revealed to me that it probably wasn't the only cause, but a scoop or two in my coffee every morning was a contributing factor.
Yeah. So that might be playing a role in the mercury and or other forms of heavy
Interesting.
So,
they don't talk about that.
Well, yeah, the FDA is not really regulating that, unfortunately. So we have a few more minutes. I want to cover a couple more like key things for you guys. So first of all, prebiotics. So we've got garlic in there and onions, asparagus, prebiotics. So you guys know probiotics. Probiotics are those live, healthy bacteria, right? But prebiotics is a type of fiber that feeds the good bacteria. So if you eat prebiotic fiber, you're nourishing the healthy bacteria in your gut, and you decrease something called small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. So you dial down inflammation in your gut, and that's going to really help with your overall health, your metabolism, and the health of your skin. So prebiotic fiber is huge. If you're going to have fish, so if you're going to eat fish, you want to look for that wild caught fish, ideally. And for you, so things like swordfish, tuna, farm raised salmon, those are no-nos, right? But if you can find, wild caught, I'm gonna connect with you later. I got a guy who can deliver fresh fish to your door here in the Hamptons. And then eggs. So you want to look for cage-free or pasture-raised. The yolk of the egg. If the yolk of the egg is like a dark yellow, that's a great sign. It means that it's rich in omega-3s. If the yolk is like a really pale yellow, that's not a good sign. So you want to have those. This is the time to support our local farmers. If you guys
absolutely.
So pick up the eggs locally. I think we have about 5 more minutes. So
I got a quick question for you. Quick question. I do take supplements when I need them. I generally believe a healthy diet is generally more than enough. What do you think about getting pre and probiotics as a supplement source as opposed to just getting it from food? Difference, worth it, not worth it?
So I evaluate everything on a case-by-case basis. I have a page on my website, Dr. Whitney's Picks, where I'll go through, and they're not sponsored. They're literally just me talking to the research and development teams, doing my research. A lot of brands are not as transparent as they should be. Like you really want to understand the supply chain. I want to know, where are these ingredients being sourced from? What are the quality control measures? What is the carbon footprint? What kind of impact does it have on the environment? And what are these contaminated? How are they being tested for safety?
It's so tough.
It's the wild, wild west.
The supplement industry is so difficult. Everyone complains about the pharmaceutical industry, but at least they are regulated.
Thank you. 100% I echo that. So the supplement industry.
You hear that, Diana? You hear that, my wife? You hear that, my love of my life?
It's highly unregulated. So nowadays, I tell people, try to focus on whole foods. Try to get it through your diet. And,
yes.
you know, I know it's challenging, but I mean, right there, now you have this sort of like light bulb, like maybe part of the mercury was coming from
She's giving me a dirty look.
Like,
my
oh,
wife's
no.
giving me a dirty look.
Oh, stop.
Anyway, no, I agree. You know, you have to maximize food sources. There are some people that are vegans or have certain dietary things or certain metabolic issues. That is when I think maybe supplementation through a physician, preferably someone experienced in integrative medicine, to help you. You can't just go prescribing yourself supplements.
And you should, elimination diets, these trends, these fads, that's not evidence-based. And it's really not the way to go. And right now, guys, like, it's hard to food shop. It's hard to even get food. Like, now is not the time to go on a heavily restricted diet and feel trapped. Like, it's hard enough to be on those diets when you have access to everything. Now is the time to focus on eating whole foods. Reach for whole, fresh foods, frozen vegetables, fresh vegetables, roast them, you know, have oatmeal with your family, you know, have fruits and vegetables and nuts and seeds and yogurt, and like, go with real foods. Look, not in boxes, you know, not the refined processed crap that we're used to eating. You know, when you're gluten-free and you're vegan and you've got muffins and cookies and cakes, and guess what? The other things they're putting in there to supplement whatever one ingredient you're avoiding, it's not actually doing you any favors. It's not significantly better than the one that you're trying to avoid. So if you go with whole foods, you really can't go wrong.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, the most important question of this whole session is, when am I getting invited over for dinner? Because clearly you've got a good cooking situation at your home. You know, I love
Oh my gosh,
cook.
and I'm going to be feeding you in clear, small containers. It's like feng shui in my kitchen over here. No, I miss you so much. So I can't wait to see you. Hopefully soon. I'm gearing up. I'm optimistic that we're going to
happen, darling. I
open
promise.
our doors pretty soon. But I'm going to keep following you. Your channel is amazing. For you guys who are on my channel, learning about Dr. Paul Jared Frank, his Instagram channel is amazing. So please check it out.
And we're going to be following your challenge.
If you guys want to check out my boot camp,
we're going to check out the boot camp. I love it.
Check out my boot camp. Join me.
It's awesome. We're both doing what we got to do. I love you. Stay healthy.
All right. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.